And I ain't into like two rappers beefing. Like, don't mix me with it.
Why?
If somebody died, I'm gonna pick a side. For real. If somebody died, I'm gonna pick a side. Other than that, don't mix me with that. I seen the outcomes of that. Like, I ain't with that. Hell.
Remember when YoungBoy said something about me in his song?
Yes.
I said a line about him.
Right. So you're rap beefing.
I wouldn't take it to a rap beef to where everything is back and forth. We're from different places and different human beings. If we keep going at each other like this, no, it's gonna be people dying.
Now, what's probably the biggest feature you had to turn down, man? I know there probably was some features of someone like, yo, I want to get you on this record. What's one of the biggest features you had to turn down?
Like, for like 75,000, something like that. And that's only because, like, I'm cool with that person is beefing.
Man, Lil Baby's catching heat right now, and it's not looking good. People are saying he ditched Lil Durk's side just to start cozying up to NBA YoungBoy like nothing ever happened. The streets are buzzing, and everyone's calling out how quick Baby switched up the moment things got messy for Durk. This whole situation ain't just about rap beef. It's about loyalty, betrayal, and how some rappers will flip faster than a coin when the pressure's on. Now let me break it down for you, because once you hear this whole story, you'll see why fans are calling out these fake industry friendships. Back in the day, before all this drama, Lil Baby and NBA YoungBoy were tight, like real tight. They weren't just doing music together for clout, there was actual respect between them. Around 2018 to 2020, they were locked in, dropping bangers that had the whole scene talking. They made tracks like One Shot and Cross Me, and those weren't just songs, they were statements. When Baby and YoungBoy linked up, the energy was crazy. You could feel that raw, hungry drive coming from both of them. They came from the same kind of struggle, young dudes trying to make it out of the mud, fighting to turn pain into power through their music. That's what made their connection real, at least back then. But here's where everything flipped upside down. The moment street politics started mixing with industry games, that solid friendship started to crack.
You get like, and I ain't into like two rappers beefing. Like, I ain't into that. Like, I ain't like, don't mix me with it. Like,
why?
If somebody died, I'm gonna pick a side. For real. If somebody died, I'm gonna pick a side. Other than that, don't miss me with that shit.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I get it.
When NBA YoungBoy's camp started clashing with OTF, suddenly Baby was caught in the middle, and instead of standing firm or staying out of it, he chose to slide with Durk's side. That's when fans started side-eyeing him heavy. See, this is the dark truth about the rap game. It's full of fake loyalty. When artists are grinding their way up, they bond through pain and hustle. But once fame hits, those same relationships turn into business moves. Everything becomes about who's hot, who's got power, and who's worth standing next to for the cameras. Lil Baby and YoungBoy's early friendship might have been built on real respect, but once fame, money, and gang ties got involved, that brotherhood didn't stand a chance. What used to be genuine love for each other's grind turned into another cold industry story about who's standing next to who when it benefits them most. And that's why fans are saying Lil Baby's showing his true colors right now, switching sides when it's convenient and leaving the same people he used to rock with hanging. The streets don't forget moves like that, and it looks like this one's about to blow up big time. Back when Lil Baby and NBA YoungBoy were both on the come up, their loyalty seemed unshakable. They were both hungry, chasing the same dream, fighting the same demons, trying to escape the same kind of struggle. When you're still climbing, loyalty feels solid because everyone's suffering together. But the second fame hits, that struggle disappears. And suddenly, it's not about who's real, it's about who's powerful. Now it's all business. Who you align with, who you protect, and how to make sure you're standing next to the winning team. That's when the mask comes off and fake loyalty starts showing. It's like Baby convinced himself he was just making a smart move by riding with Lil Durk instead of YoungBoy. Maybe he told himself OTF was the stronger camp. Maybe he thought siding with Durk would keep his image clean. Or maybe deep down he really believed YoungBoy wouldn't survive that beef.
So I talked to the young boys, I'm like, yo, so what's up with them? He's like, oh, nah, homie, those are ops, right? And I'm like, so what happened? He's like, nah. What it means is he don't even, he don't know.
He don't know why they beefing.
No, he don't even know, but he know those is not cool. That's his information that he received. That's the way he feel about it. And it's real to him because they gonna act off it. When you see like NBA YoungBoy and Lil Durk, and they got extreme going on. But when it happens, NBA YoungBoy will be away. So Durk has an extreme advantage because he's actually out and meeting people. You still gotta be conscious of the street because the street, you can just be oblivious to it in the streets. I'll catch up with you, eat you like breakfast, man. Like, it is what it is. Nah, that's like when you reach out to Drake, and they go, nah, I fuck Durk. You know, NBA YoungBoy wanted to do something to that nigga. You said what? You said, I wish that nigga would have said something in my face.
Whatever his reason was, one thing's clear, and when YoungBoy needed a friend the most, Baby turned his back. Now, let's talk about the turning point. The King Von situation, the night everything flipped. November 6th, 2020, Atlanta. Chaos outside a hookah lounge. King Von, one of the hottest rising stars in the game, ended up in a heated fight with Quando Rondo. In the middle of it all, Quando's close homie, Lil Tim, pulled out a gun. Shots went off, and Von didn't make it. That moment didn't just take a life, it tore the hip-hop scene in half. King Von wasn't just any rapper. You know, he was Lil Durk's brother in spirit, his right-hand soldier, the future of OTF. His end hit the streets hard and forced every artist connected to that circle to choose a side. No more pretending to be cool with both camps. Blood had been spilled, and the code of the streets doesn't allow neutrality after that. NBA YoungBoy and his people, including Quando Rondo, instantly found themselves in a life-or-death feud with OTF. This was no longer about who had the better verse or the bigger hit. This was about revenge, loyalty, and survival. The entire industry felt the tension. People who were once friends suddenly stopped talking. Features got canceled, collabs disappeared, and lines were drawn deep in the sand. And that's where Lil Baby showed where his heart really was. And it wasn't with YoungBoy. Instead of holding down his old friend, Baby chose to stick close to Durk and OTF. He could have stayed neutral, but he didn't. He could have shown support without getting involved, but he didn't. Instead, he made it clear, publicly and proudly, that he'd picked his side. In one of his interviews, Baby even said, "I don't care about rapper beef, but if somebody ends, I'm gonna pick a side." That one line told everyone exactly where he stood. To the streets, that sounded less like loyalty and more like betrayal dressed up as strategy. It was the moment fans realized, in this industry, loyalty don't run deep, it runs convenient. Now here's the wildest part about Lil Baby's whole "I pick a side" statement. He basically admitted he was cool with throwing away his friendship with NBA YoungBoy over something YoungBoy didn't even do. Think about that. YoungBoy wasn't there the night King Von got shot. He didn't pull the trigger, and he wasn't even directly involved in that whole mess. But still, Baby turned his back like YoungBoy was the one who caused it all. That's not loyalty, that's fear mixed with strategy. When you really look at it, Baby's decision says a lot about how the industry works. Instead of standing beside someone he once called a friend, he chose to align himself with whoever he thought held more power and influence. That ain't loyalty. That's clout chasing dressed up as being real. It's all about protecting his position in the game, not protecting the people who helped build him up. Meanwhile, YoungBoy started realizing what was really going on behind the scenes. The whole industry was slowly turning its back on him. Artists who used to post his songs, who used to hop on tracks with him, suddenly went quiet. Collaborations dried up, calls stopped coming, and even old friends were acting brand new. People who once praised him were now pretending like they never knew him. That kind of isolation hits hard, especially when you've already got court cases, street beef, and label pressure on your back. YoungBoy began feeling like it was him versus everybody, and you could hear it pouring out in his music. His lyrics started cutting deeper, filled with pain, paranoia, and that raw emotion only someone who's truly been betrayed could express.
Now, what's probably the biggest feature you had to turn down, man? I know there probably was some features of someone like, yo, I want to get you on this record. What's one of the biggest features you had to turn down?
Like, for like 75,000, something like that. And that's only because, like, I'm cool with a person that person was beefing with.
Another person.
So then that's like, even though I don't even know him or even know the other person, but I already was kind of cool with him.
Just out of respect.
Yeah, then I ain't want to just be in the middle of it. You know what I'm saying? That's the only time I'm turning down the feature.
He wasn't just making songs anymore. He was venting his soul through the mic. It's like the industry tried to erase him, but he refused to disappear. Imagine being one of the biggest rappers in the game and still feeling like everyone's plotting on your downfall. That'll mess with anyone's mind. The paranoia, the depression, the constant feeling that everyone's fake. It's enough to make you stop trusting anybody. But instead of letting that break him, YoungBoy flipped the script and turned all that anger into fuel. he started calling out the industry one by one, naming names, airing out the fake love, and exposing the people who switched up the moment things got risky. That pain became power, and that's why his fan base stayed solid. His supporters could feel his pain because it was real, not manufactured drama, but genuine emotion from someone who's been crossed too many times. And then came the explosion, the I Hate YoungBoy track. That wasn't just a diss, that was a full-blown war declaration. He didn't just go after Lil Durk, he aimed at everyone who had tried to blacklist him, including Lil Baby himself. It was like he took every ounce of betrayal, every fake smile, every closed door, and turned it into one of the hardest tracks the streets had heard in years. On that song, YoungBoy didn't hold back. He called out the fake loyalty, the fake alliances, and the way people flipped the moment it stopped benefiting them. You could feel the bitterness, but also the freedom in his voice, like he was done playing the industry's game. It wasn't about charts or awards anymore. It was about clearing his name and reminding everyone that he's not the type to bow down just to fit in. That track became more than a diss. It was a message, a warning to every artist who thinks fame means loyalty. YoungBoy showed the world that even when the industry turns its back, real fans, real pain, and real emotion will always speak louder than fake alliances. The mindset behind that track, I Hate YoungBoy, runs deep. This wasn't just another diss song, it was therapy through chaos. YoungBoy basically said, if y'all want to turn on me, then I'm calling out every single one of you. Instead of trying to mend relationships or play nice for the cameras, he decided to go to war, publicly, unapologetically, and with no filter. That's the kind of raw energy that makes him different from everybody else in the game. It wasn't about making friends anymore. It was about standing on truth. But underneath all that fire, you could hear something deeper. Pain. You could feel the heartbreak of a man who gave loyalty and got betrayal in return. Every bar dripped with frustration. Every line screamed out the hurt of being abandoned by people he once trusted. That track wasn't just about anger. It was about survival in an industry that loves you when you're hot and forgets you the second you fall out of favor. Then, just when the music world thought the smoke was clearing, boom, the streets started buzzing with whispers of revenge.
Out behind a nigga you don't even know. Bitch, you ain't even take no flower to this man grave. I guarantee you ain't take not one flower to this man grave. And you dicked out like that, man. I ain't even got nothing to do with the situation, man. Stop playing with me, son. I don't want no problem with you, nigga.
By August 2022, chaos returned, and this time, things got deadly serious. Reports came out that Quando Rondo's cousin, Lil Pap, was hit and ended in Los Angeles. And instantly, all eyes turned toward Lil Durk and OTF. People began speculating that this was revenge for King Von's ending. According to sources close to law enforcement, the word on the street was wild, that Durk allegedly orchestrated a hit-for-hire plot targeting Quando Rondo himself, but the hit missed the intended target and took out his cousin instead. This wasn't some random drive-by, it was allegedly planned, funded, and executed with serious precision, the kind of move that screams revenge mission. This supposed retaliation wasn't about music beef anymore, it was about family vengeance. When King Von ended, OTF didn't just lose a rapper, they lost blood, loyalty, and a piece of their soul. And in street culture, when someone takes your brother, the code says you gotta strike back, no matter the cost. But what makes this story so dark is that the alleged payback didn't stop at street corners, it stretched across states with planning, coordination, and money trails that caught the feds' attention fast. And here's where things went downhill for Durk. That alleged obsession with revenge might have been the very thing that ended his freedom. If he had just focused on his career, stayed out the mix, and let karma do its thing, he might still be living free. But allegedly, that burning need to get justice for Von pushed him too far. Now that same drive might be the reason he's facing federal charges that could end his career forever. The federal case against Durk looks brutal, like there's no easy way out. The authorities aren't treating this like some neighborhood dispute. This is full-blown federal conspiracy. The type of case where the feds show up with wiretaps, bank statements, flight logs, and snitches ready to talk. They've allegedly got recordings, money trails, and insider testimony linking Durk and OTF to violent crimes across multiple states. And if what's being whispered is even half true, it's bad news. They're saying the feds believe Durk allegedly used his OTF label as a front for organized crime, paying off hitters, funding retaliation missions, and managing travel logistics to make the hits look clean. It's the kind of stuff that sounds like a movie script, except this one's playing out in real life and the ending doesn't look good for him. They've got paper trails, phone calls, text logs, and even people who are allegedly flipping to save themselves. When federal prosecutors show up with that level of evidence, it's not a game, it's a takedown. And the sad part, if any of it sticks, Durk's not looking at a short bid, he's looking at life behind bars. The same loyalty that pushed him to ride for Vaughn might be the same thing that buries him legally. It's one of those tragic loops the streets never stop teaching. Once you step into revenge, it's almost impossible to step back out. What's making things even uglier for Lil Durk right now is the fact that he's not fighting a state case. He's in federal court. And when the feds come for you, it's a whole different game. These people don't play. They move slow, quiet, and calculated. They've got a conviction rate sitting above 90% and they never press charges unless they're nearly certain they can win. So the very fact that they cuffed Durk, read him those charges, and threw him in the system means one thing: they truly believe they've got him cornered. The psychology of going through something like this is devastating. Just picture it. 1 minute, you're on top of the world. Award shows, Grammys, sold-out concerts, and millions in your bank account. Then, out of nowhere, you're facing a possible life sentence. That kind of drop hits different. It eats at your mind because you start realizing the scariest truth. You're not here because someone set you up. You're here because of your own choices. That's the type of guilt and regret that can break even the strongest soul. And here's where it gets even colder, and the so-called friends start vanishing. Suddenly, all that brotherhood talk fades into silence. The same rappers who were shouting OTF for life and clowning NBA YoungBoy online, yeah, those same ones are now quietly unliking Durk's photos and tapping like on YoungBoy's new posts instead. It's wild how fast loyalty flips when the cameras stop flashing. Now that Durk's future looks dark, everyone's switching up. People who once dissed YoungBoy in defense of Durk are now back in YoungBoy's comment section, acting like they never chose sides. They're smiling, showing love, and trying to play neutral again. It's like the second Durk lost his power, the loyalty just evaporated. That's not friendship, that's opportunism wearing a chain. And at the center of all this messy back and forth sits Lil Baby, once again proving just how fake this industry loyalty can get. When Durk was free, untouchable, and powerful, Baby was right there beside him, performing together, taking pictures, and making it crystal clear whose camp he was riding with. But now that the pressure's on, Baby's moves are starting to look shaky. Fans noticed it first, the subtle but shady activity on Instagram. The same dude who once said he'd pick a side if somebody ends is suddenly out here liking NBA YoungBoy's posts. And not just one or two. He's consistently dropping likes like nothing ever happened, like all that tension, beef, and loyalty never existed. And make no mistake, and those likes aren't just random taps on a screen. In this industry, social media is its own kind of language. A like can mean a truce, a message, or even a warning. And right now, Baby's message seems loud and clear. Yo, I'm cool with you again, young boy. Let's let the past be the past. It's a desperate attempt at reconciliation, and the timing couldn't be more obvious. With Durk sitting behind bars and YoungBoy gaining more independence and influence, Baby's trying to slide back into favor before it's too late. But everyone can see what's happening. The fans, the blogs, even other rappers, they're all calling out how fast Baby switched sides once the tables turned. That's the sad truth about the rap industry. Loyalty only lasts as long as success does. When you're up, everybody's beside you. When you're down, they're already plotting their next alliance. And right now, Lil Baby's every move is proof that in this game, most friendships ain't real. They're just temporary business deals dressed up as brotherhood. Now that the tables have turned and the power dynamic in the industry has completely shifted, everything about Lil Baby's behavior is getting exposed for what it really is. This man's every move is being watched, and people are realizing his loyalty was never real. If he truly stood on principle, he'd be holding down Lil Durk right now, even when things got rough. But instead, he's playing both sides like a chess game, trying to keep his hands clean while protecting his image. See, the thing about loyalty is that it's tested when everything falls apart. Anybody can ride with you when you're winning, but when you're fighting for your life in court and everyone's turning their back, that's when real friends show up. The fact that Baby is switching up now says everything about his character. It's not loyalty, it's self-preservation. He sees Durk's situation getting darker, realizes he might not be coming home anytime soon, and starts realigning himself with whoever's next in power. NBA YoungBoy. This is the kind of move that exposes the ugly side of fame, where loyalty becomes a strategy instead of a value. Baby's just reading the room, calculating his next move like a businessman, not a brother. That's what makes this switch so cold. He's not acting out of emotion, he's acting out of survival. But here's the kicker. Lil Baby ain't the only one doing it. Now that Durk's facing serious federal heat, the whole industry is showing its true colors. Rappers who once screamed OTF forever are now sliding into YoungBoy's comments, liking his pictures, and pretending like the past never happened. The same people who were throwing shots, the same ones who helped blackball YoungBoy, are suddenly trying to make peace. That's not loyalty, that's pure hypocrisy. This pattern exposes something ugly about how hip-hop really works. Loyalty in this game is conditional. Friendships are treated like business deals, and principles are only valid when they're convenient. The minute a situation stops benefiting someone's brand, they switch up. These artists don't care about brotherhood, they care about staying on the winning team. And the wildest part? Most of them probably think they're being smart. They think distancing themselves from Durk early makes them look strategic. They think liking YoungBoy's posts and sending subtle peace signals makes them appear mature and unbothered. But really, they're just showing their cards. Every time they switch up, they prove that their loyalty was for sale from the very beginning. You can bet YoungBoy's watching all this unfold with a smirk. He's keeping tabs on who's real and who's fake, who rode with him when the whole industry turned its back, and who only came running back when it became trendy again. He's taking mental notes on every artist that flipped, every rapper that stayed silent, and everyone that crawled back once the power shifted. And when the dust settles, he'll know exactly who stood firm and who folded. The deeper psychology behind all this fake loyalty runs much deeper than clout. It's about survival in a cutthroat industry. The rap world is built on networks, alliances, and being seen with the right people. Once an artist reaches a certain level, loyalty stops being about friendship. It becomes a business contract without paperwork. Every handshake hides a motive, and every cosign comes with a cost. When artists are still on the come up, relationships are built on genuine grind. They help each other climb, share fans, and collaborate because it benefits both sides. But once they blow up, everything changes. Those same connections become chess moves. Suddenly, staying relevant matters more than staying real. The fear of losing status turns people into opportunists, ready to drop anyone if it means saving their own career. That's why fake loyalty is so common in hip-hop. It's not about who's right or wrong, it's about who's still standing. In an industry where fame fades fast, most rappers don't risk sinking with someone else's ship. They jump before it crashes. And right now, Lil Baby's jump might have just exposed him as the biggest opportunist of them all. In this industry, they love to say, it's not personal, it's business, but that mindset is exactly what ends real loyalty. It's the reason why genuine friendships barely exist in hip-hop anymore. The game was supposed to be built on realness, loyalty, respect, and standing tall no matter what. But the truth is, the industry version of hip-hop runs on something totally different: opportunism, image control, and pure self-preservation. It's not about keeping it 100, it's about keeping your career safe. That contradiction between the culture and the industry is what's poisoning everything. The streets were built on honor, but the boardrooms are built on strategy. So now we've got artists like Lil Baby making smart moves that look good on paper, but make them look fake to everyone watching. It's a world where loyalty has an expiration date, and once someone stops benefiting your brand, they're disposable. And here's where things get wild, because from NBA YoungBoy's perspective, everything that's happening right now probably feels like sweet, undeniable vindication. He's been calling out this fake loyalty for years. He warned everyone about these so-called friends who only stand beside you when it's convenient. And now, the same people who turned their backs on him are crawling back, acting like they were never part of the problem. YoungBoy never folded. When the industry shut him out, he didn't beg for acceptance. When they blackballed him, he doubled down and spoke his truth. He didn't sell out for peace talks or try to smooth things over to get back on playlists. He stood firm, raw, real, and unfiltered. And now that the same people who laughed at him are trying to make peace, he's sitting at the top, watching it all unfold. The crazy part is YoungBoy's consistency has become his power. He didn't chase validation, and that's exactly what made him untouchable. Now that Durk's facing serious legal trouble and everyone who chose sides against YoungBoy is running back, he holds all the cards. He gets to decide who earns forgiveness and who stays cut off for good. The psychology of being proven right after being wronged is deep. On one hand, it's satisfying, seeing the same folks who doubted you now forced to face the truth. But on the other, it's disappointing, because even though you've been vindicated, you realize just how shallow the relationships around you really were. YoungBoy probably wishes he had been wrong about people like Lil Baby, but the industry keeps proving him right. And this right here shows the clash between street code and industry politics. In the streets, loyalty is sacred. It's the foundation of everything. You ride for your people no matter what. You don't switch sides just because your homie's caught in some mess. You don't turn on someone because it might hurt your image. Loyalty is tested in the dark, not celebrated in the spotlight. But in the industry, everything's flipped. Loyalty only lasts as long as it's profitable. Once someone starts losing momentum or facing heat, artists pull away to protect their brand. It's a cold, calculated world where friendship gets replaced with PR strategy, and every move is about optics. They decide who to support based on what looks good for their career, not what's right. Lil Baby's actions are the perfect case study for this twisted system. When Durk was at his peak, hot songs, major deals, and power, Baby stood beside him, repping hard and throwing shade at YoungBoy. But the second things turned dark for Durk, Baby started liking YoungBoy's posts again like nothing ever happened. He's trying to rewrite the story, to realign himself before the next wave hits. That's not street loyalty, that's industry manipulation. It's all about protecting the bag, not protecting your brother. The tragedy in all this is that hip-hop was born from the streets, from pain, struggle, and community. But the higher it climbed into the business world, the more those principles got twisted into something almost unrecognizable. Now it's less about who's real and more about who's relevant. Loyalty became a marketing tool and authenticity got replaced with convenience. And the worst part, the fans can see it now. They can tell who's moving with heart and who's just chasing clout. The mask is slipping, and it's exposing an industry that's forgotten what loyalty even means. The truth hurts. The realness, loyalty, and raw authenticity that once made hip-hop powerful have slowly been replaced with fake smiles, hollow friendships, and calculated connections. What used to be a culture built on brotherhood has turned into a battlefield of self-interest and survival. These new industry rules reward opportunists and silence the loyal, and the long-term damage is already showing. When artists can't trust each other, when every handshake hides a motive, and when loyalty depends on who's winning, the entire foundation of hip-hop cracks. Once your friend flips on you, it changes everything. Even if NBA YoungBoy and Lil Baby end up patching things up publicly, that bond will never be the same. YoungBoy's too smart for that. He's seen the switch up firsthand, and deep down, he knows that loyalty can't be rebuilt once it's been bought and sold. That's the cold reality. Once someone shows you that they'll ditch you when it's convenient, you can never look at them the same again. That kind of betrayal doesn't just change how you see them, it changes how you move. Every conversation gets filtered through suspicion, every alliance becomes temporary, and every promise sounds fake. And it's not just YoungBoy who's feeling it. The same thing's happening all over the rap game. The artists who once stood tall beside Lil Durk are now switching lanes, trying to stay close to whoever looks most powerful next. Sure, they might make peace with YoungBoy, post each other on Instagram, and act like everything's all love, but everyone's watching. The fans see it, the streets see it, and the game sees it. These people have exposed themselves. Everyone now knows their loyalty is for sale. And when the next power shift comes, they'll sell it again. This new environment has made genuine friendship in hip-hop almost impossible. Every move is strategic. Every smile has a purpose. Every bro is a calculated alliance. Nobody's being real. They're just protecting their image, their brand, and their business connections. But what happens when everyone is playing defense? Creativity dies. The music loses its soul. The culture becomes nothing more than an industry machine with no heart behind it. And let's be real, minded, from a business standpoint, Lil Baby probably thinks he's being smart. He's looking at the board thinking long term. If Durk's locked up for decades, staying loyal doesn't make sense financially. If YoungBoy's still hot, still streaming, still winning, then making peace might seem like the right move. But that kind of logic might win short-term clout and lose long-term respect, because when people see that your loyalty is really just a business move, they stop trusting you. They start questioning your integrity. Baby might believe he's being strategic by switching sides early, but in reality, he's exposing himself. Fans aren't stupid. They can feel the energy. They can tell when someone's being genuine and when someone's chasing convenience. By trying to protect his career, Baby might have done more harm than good, because in this culture, being fake is one of the biggest sins you can commit. See, in hip-hop, authenticity is everything. You can lose money and bounce back, but once people label you fake, that stain doesn't wash off. Artists want to work with people they can trust. Fans respect rappers who keep it real, and the streets never forget who violated the code. So yeah, Baby might think he's saving his image, but really he's trading long-term respect for short-term survival. Because the truth is, loyalty isn't about what's easy, it's about what's right. When you switch sides for convenience, you're telling the world your word don't mean a thing. And in the end, that kind of reputation spreads faster than any hit record. This whole saga, from Durk's downfall to YoungBoy's vindication, perfectly sums up what's wrong with modern hip-hop. The fake loyalty, the industry politics, the it's just business excuses, it's all slowly choking out the authenticity that once gave the culture its power. Hip-hop used to be about standing on your word, riding with your people, and keeping it 100. Not about analytics, image management, and social media peace offerings. Now, it's turned into a game of survival where relationships are transactional and loyalty is temporary. And unless something changes, that realness, the heartbeat of hip-hop, might never come back. This new wave of conditional loyalty is slowly ending the soul of hip-hop. It's teaching the next generation of artists all the wrong lessons. The new kids watching this drama unfold aren't learning about brotherhood, unity, or respect. They're learning that loyalty only matters when it's convenient. They're seeing that principles are optional, that flipping sides is normal, and that being fake can actually pay off if it helps your career. That's not hip-hop, that's Hollywood with a beat. The saddest part, the ones who still move with real morals, artists like NBA YoungBoy who stand on their principles no matter what, get labeled as outsiders. They get blackballed, silenced, and pushed away by the same system that celebrates the switch-ups. Meanwhile, people like Lil Baby, who play both sides when it's convenient, keep getting rewarded, big features, radio play, brand deals, and media love. It's a backward system where staying fake gets you ahead and being real gets you pushed out. And that's what's destroying the culture from the inside out. The core of hip-hop was built on truth, loyalty, and raw emotion, not politics and PR strategy. But now that energy is getting lost because people are more worried about protecting their connections than protecting their integrity. Here's the final breakdown of the real cost of fake loyalty. This whole saga between Lil Baby and YoungBoy is way deeper than two rappers not getting along. It's the perfect example of how fame and industry pressure can twist someone's morals and turn brotherhood into business. Baby and YoungBoy started off with something real. Mutual respect, a shared grind, a bond that came from pain and hustle. But when things got messy, Baby folded under the weight of industry politics. He didn't just walk away from a friendship, he walked away from his own authenticity. When it became politically convenient to side with Durk and OTF, Baby jumped ship. He chose power over loyalty, clout over character. And now that the tides have turned again, he's trying to make peace with YoungBoy like nothing ever happened. But that's not how loyalty works. You can't switch it on and off like a light whenever it fits your image. Once you break that trust, there's no going back. Real loyalty doesn't come with conditions. You don't ride with someone only when it's good for your brand. You ride because it's real. And once you cross that line, no apology, no Instagram like, and no peace offering can fix it. YoungBoy's not blind to what's going on either. He's watching all these switch-ups play out like a movie, and he's taking notes. Quietly, strategically, and patiently. He's clocking who was really down and who was just pretending for the cameras. And you can bet he'll remember every move, every artist that flipped sides, everyone that stayed silent, everyone that tried to crawl back when the tables turned. He's seeing all of it. That kind of betrayal changes a person forever. It makes you cautious, it hardens your heart, and it forces you to look at everyone sideways. And that's the real tragedy, not just the broken friendships, but the loss of trust that can't be rebuilt. These moments create emotional scars that don't fade. They shape how artists move, who they work with, and how they navigate the game for years to come. What's even worse is, all this mess could have been avoided if people had just stood on their principles from the start. If Lil Baby had stayed neutral instead of picking sides. If other artists had refused to take part in the industry's quiet blackballing, if loyalty had mattered more than strategy, none of this fake make-peace narrative would even exist. But instead, we're left with a cautionary tale about what happens when people choose politics over principle. This whole situation, from Durk's downfall to Baby's switch-up and YoungBoy's revenge through success, has become the ultimate reflection of what's broken in modern hip-hop. Fake loyalty, business-driven friendships, and the abandonment of core values are eating away at the culture from the inside. Now everyone sees it clearly. Every move, every like, every alliance, and it's obvious. This isn't about friendship, it's about power. Lil Baby isn't making peace out of love, he's doing it out of fear. Fear of being left behind, fear of losing relevance, fear of being on the wrong side of history. At the end of the day, this whole story ain't about friendship or respect anymore. It's about career calculations and self-preservation. Every move Lil Baby's making now screams strategy, not loyalty. And that's exactly the kind of fake energy that's been eating away at hip-hop's soul for years. The culture used to be built on real ones, people who stood on principle, who didn't fold when the game got tough, but now everybody's protecting their brand instead of their brothers. And let's keep it a buck, real recognizes real and fake always gets exposed. No matter how polished the image, no matter how clean the PR move, the truth always surfaces. Lil Baby's switch up is doing more than just making headlines, it's exposing his entire character. Fans see it, YoungBoy sees it, and even the industry that used to cheer him on is starting to whisper. The mask is slipping, and people are realizing that loyalty isn't in his DNA, only self-interest is. Right now, the streets are watching closely. Every like, every interview, every move Baby makes is being dissected. YoungBoy sitting back, silent but aware, watching who's real and who's fronting, and the whole culture is learning from this, learning what happens when you trade your principles for politics. When you move for power instead of purpose, you end up losing respect no matter how many hits you drop. Because loyalty ain't something you rent for the moment. It's something you live by for life. And once you break it, you can't buy it back. No matter how rich or famous you are, the game remembers and the people never forget. So what do you think, fam? Did Lil Baby just end his credibility in the streets for good? Drop your thoughts down below. I want to hear what y'all think about this switch up. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more raw celebrity breakdowns and hip-hop drama. And before you go, make sure you watch the next video on your screen. Trust me, the next story is even wilder, and you won't believe who's getting exposed next.